Before I make another Unreal Engine video, I need to make it clear that we are all playing PES because of its gameplay. With FIFA being the only competition, PES is pretty much the only game that tries to resemble the intricacies of the beautiful game. We don't care much for the graphics, and to be honest, on PC, the game already looks good enough with all the mods which I've listed in the description. But even though the game looks good enough in my opinion, through this combination of free and paid mods, there's always room for improvement with a new engine. But which engine exactly are we talking about? So last year, Konami announced it will finally move away from Fox Engine in favor of Unreal Engine. And that was a few weeks after Epic Games announced their brand new next-gen Unreal Engine 5 designed specifically for next-gen consoles, which PES 2022 is exclusively being released to alongside the PC. But is that new version of Unreal Engine the same one we're getting in PES 2022? And what difference will it make for next-gen textures and lighting if the team switches to Unreal Engine 5? It's unlikely, albeit still possible, that we'll get Unreal Engine 5 in PES 2022. You see, Unreal Engine 5 was announced a year ago, with plans to release it in early 2021. But till today, it hasn't been released yet for developers. But there's good news. Epic Games also announced that Unreal Engine 4 is forward compatible with Unreal Engine 5, allowing developers to smoothly carry projects over between engines. That means that if Unreal Engine 5 were to come out next month, theoretically, the PES team can just port their work to Unreal Engine 5 and carry on. But as I mentioned in my previous PES 2022 video, this is a small team with a very bad track record of making the best use of tools they were offered. Let's not forget that Konami is mostly out of the expensive high-end gaming business, with its priorities and resources shifted to the cheaper mobile gaming business, with a few exceptions including the PES franchise. Shifting to Unreal Engine 5 mid-development might be feasible, but I'm not sure Konami will invest in this direction despite the huge performance and quality gains the game can take advantage of. Unreal Engine 5 comes with another huge advantage for those who start developing their games with it: free access to the Epic Games Quixel Megascans. Remember the ultra-realistic grass textures I mentioned in my PES 2022 Unreal Engine video? Well, those and plenty more ultra-realistic textures will come for free with Unreal Engine 5. It might not make sense for Konami to spend money on another source of realistic textures, then shift to Unreal Engine 5, where most of them will be available for free. So what else would we be missing out on, and what's so special about Unreal Engine 5? Those are two different questions. Even without Unreal Engine 5 being announced, we're already missing out on a few features supported by Unreal Engine 4, most notably the newly announced MetaHumans. Lionel Messi's new face was kind of impressive a year ago when the next-gen teaser came out. But after seeing Unreal Engine's MetaHumans, it became clear that there is a noticeable difference between Messi's face and the MetaHumans in terms of textures, subtle animations, and overall realism. But back to Unreal Engine 5, it comes with two main advantages. The first is the Lumen system, which is a phenomenal ray tracing solution designed for next-gen consoles that don't have NVIDIA's dedicated ray tracing hardware. It's a fully dynamic global illumination solution that immediately reacts to scene and light changes. It basically distributes light around the scene after the first hit of lighting. Lumen still uses ray tracing to solve indirect lighting, but uses a simplified version of the rendered polygons, not triangles. This is a way more efficient form of traditional ray tracing, without having a heavy impact on frame rates. As a result, it requires no special ray tracing hardware, which makes it perfect for hardware running on AMD cards, such as the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. Lumen alone is a good enough reason for PES 2022 to be shifted to Unreal Engine 5 before its release. Otherwise, it'll be a challenge to get ray tracing running on consoles without any compromises. In my previous video, you can see how much better lighting on the Emirates Stadium got when traditional ray tracing was turned on, but you'll also notice that many parts of the stadium were completely black, with no light bouncing off to them, which is quite costly to enable in real time using traditional ray tracing. With Unreal Engine 5's Lumen, the light rays keep bouncing and offer some light for these areas in the shade without an impact on performance. Take a look at this example from the Unreal Engine 5 demo. You can clearly see how much improved and more realistic ray trace lighting is with Lumen, while being significantly more efficient and less resource intensive. The second big feature of Unreal Engine 5 is Nanite, which in simple terms enables extremely high resolution 8K objects and textures to be brought into the game as virtual textures. Then these textures get dynamically downscaled according to the space they occupy on the screen, thus saving substantially on GPU memory. For a game like PES, this means you can have ultra detailed grass and faces all the time regardless of where your camera is. If you zoom in, you'll be able to gradually see more details of this 8K texture without having to load a new texture according to how close you are to it. In short, you get way more details in the scene at almost no cost to the GPU. It won't matter if every chair in the stadium and every single grass strand on the pitch was made of 3D 8K accurate textures, because at a distance, the scratches will still be there but will have no effect on the GPU because of how small they are. This means that you won't get pop-in ground textures depending on how close or far you are from the ground. And it's not just about the textures, but the shadows too. In the past, developers had to make shadows with worse quality to limit the impact on performance. With Nanite, your players can have super accurate, high-resolution shadows that will also downscale depending on how much space they occupy on the screen. Shadows will also realistically become more and more diffuse in the parts of them that are away from their objects. I'll leave a link in the description for Digital Foundry's incredible breakdown to both Lumen and Nanite in Unreal Engine 5. So obviously, Unreal Engine 5 matters a lot, and I hope the PES team makes the shift when it's out. And even though it's early, this might be the real reason we haven't seen real-time gameplay of PES 2022. But does it really matter compared to something like animations? As I've shown in my previous video, which I've linked in the description, animations are what make a football game look real, and not dynamic lighting or 8K textures or shadows. EA is heavily invested in machine learning artificial intelligence that can capture real animations from an actual game and apply them to a 3D model. In this paper, an AI can actually figure out how a player will run if he injured his calf or thigh, and adapt his running animation to show this limitation in a certain joint's movement. The age of motion detection suits is over. We won't know how bad or good the animations are till we actually see footage of the game, but knowing Konami, their small team, and the company's priorities that shifted away from console game development, I'm not too optimistic. And as important as animations are towards a more fluid and responsive gameplay, there are other basic elements of gameplay that haven't changed in decades, like the 4-speed dribbling for example, which will be the topic of the next video. So be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. And I'll see you in the next one.